Hey guys, Tommy T back again with another tutorial. This time I'm going to show you how to do a um, water block for your RAM. So this is the RAM that I'm doing, the Corsair Vengeance RAM. I'm going to go ahead and take out this casing in here so I can put it in my water cool casing to go ahead and attach it to the water block, so that way I can put it into my MSI build. So this is going to go into my MSI build. This is a 32 kit 32 gig kit module. So I got 8 gigs each, 4 of them 32. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of tip, a little bit of tricks that I do. I don't have any special tools, so this is how I do it. Is that if you are putting the heat source on this part of the RAM itself, but your finger on this side, if it's starting to feel super hot to the touch, then you know that you are reaching its max limit to heat up your RAM, okay, to pull it apart. If you starting to feel burn on this side when you putting the heat sources on this side, then you know you're overdoing the heating of the RAM to remove the metal casing itself. So that's overdoing it, okay? So I usually do is I put the heat source on this side, move it back and forth a little bit. Now once I start to feel the hot, this kind of hot feeling touch on this side right here, then I know it's time for me to start pulling it apart. Now when you pull it apart, you gotta be careful. You don't want to just all of a sudden just yank this apart, because you're gonna yank all the PCB with it. What you want to do is slowly pull it apart. If you have a small razor blade, you can cut the thermal paste that's in there. I don't know if you can see it. Focus. There's a thermal paste that's in there, but it's like a little strip. You can cut that. It's easier to take out. So let's begin. So I'm going to heat it up on this side. I don't want to overdo it. I'm holding it to this side here. You don't have to heat up both sides, but I kind of like it doing that. You can just heat on one side and take one side at a time, but I'll usually do just one side at a time. Would be good. So that's already good already. And then so you can start taking this apart. So you might want to hurry before it gets cool again. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of scraping up the glue on one side as I pushing down to take this apart. I'm just scraping up the glue that's holding the thermal paste and the PCB together in there. I don't know, you can see in there. So I'm just gently scraping the glue off of it and gently putting my forces in there to spread this out. And I don't want you want to try to avoid touching the PCB, or the RAM itself inside. Hey, there it is. Voila. And so there it is. I got it out. And you just kind of gently scrape off all the extra glue that they have in there. They're very simple, you know, they don't stick in there too bad or anything like that. And you just do that. Okay, and as far as these right here, they're very brittle, so you can just pretty much peel them off just like that. So be careful because they will rip. See, and if they rip, you gotta try to peel the rest of the stuff out. So just be gentle and you can peel them all out at one time. Look at that, like hotcakes. And for the remaining glue, you just kind of run your finger through it, and then you can, and they'll roll right off. They'll roll right off. You don't have to scrape it or do any kind of cleaning, anything to it. See, they'll come right off. And that goes same to all this right here too as well. So I'm not gonna bore you with them, but you guys get the idea of how these RAM removal works. So once you remove that, then you start the installation. So once you move one side, you got to remove the other side too as well. And that way you can fit your kit on there. And also don't forget to as well, you have to put new thermal paste. It's not thermal paste, it's actually the thermal strip, really. So the strip really prevent the two middle pieces that sandwich together to hold your RAM in place from actually touching your RAM, because that won't be too good. If it does touch your RAM, then you're gonna have a short, and you pretty much say goodbye to that RAM. So in every kit that you purchase or every kit that you buy comes with the thermal strip. And these thermal strip, you just put them on this here, and then when you clamp this together, it holds it there for you. So now you got to do this side. So we repeat the same scenario. It doesn't take too much, and you just take that, pull it out. Now this part is a little tricky because you don't really have the other side. And then voila. See? Very good. You got both of the casing off, and you got the RAM stick right there. So this RAM stick, again, all you gotta do is clean up the glue, You can clean as much as you can. It don't have to be perfect, but it just, I'm OCD, so I kind of want to clean them out as much as I can. But you'll be fine. You can throw the thermal stick. I mean the thermal strip on there, and then it'll work just fine. It will just do its job. All right. So it is good. Make sure you ground yourself, or make sure you touch your case, so that way you don't shock your RAM or shock anything you're working. Because if you do that, that's the end of it for your RAM. So make sure you touch your case, touch your stuff, and always remember to swell whenever putting your water block for the RAM. You always want to kind of have this facing outward. If you're going to do this facing outward, then you need to make sure the slot where your RAM is, that's facing outward. So this needs to be facing upward, and this needs to be on top with your emblem casing. So it goes like this, and then this goes above on it. Okay. So I always like to start from the bottom first, which is where it has the raise side. So I'll start with this side. I'll lace this down, and then I'll lace this. Remember, we want this side up, so we want to start from the back moving forward. So I'll flip this around like that, and I'll take my thermal strip I have here that comes with the kit. Some kit varies. Some kit require you to cut your own, but this is already pre-cut already. So I'll just take the strip out like that, and just lay them right on top of the memory, just like that. Make sure it covers the whole entire memory. If you have some overages, it's fine, not a big deal. But you want it to cover 100% of the memory itself. Okay, so as you can see, it's covered. It's good to go. And then all I do is I put it just like that. Alright, I put it just like that with the 90 degree and L, and I just lay it down just like that. That way I know I have a perfect center setting. So now I have that side. I'm gonna go ahead and lay this down. Okay, I want to make sure it's perfect center. Push it in a little bit, and I'll take the other thermal strip, the other one. Here we go. I'll do it on this side. Same. I'll repeat the same thing. Okay, cover 100%. Looking good. Alright, and I'll just lay this down on it. Again, I'll put the edge first, and then boom, voila, just drop it down, just like that. Okay, once you put the screws in, it's gonna automatic seals it in, keep it in place, and you're good for that. So I'll put the first screws in this way. There we go. Not too tight, just enough. And then you want to come back and tighten it again. But let's go ahead and put one at the end and one at the other end, just to make sure we don't lose its place. Go ahead and tie it down. Now you can go ahead and tighten it. Like I said, you don't have to do too tight of it. You want just a snug fit, and you're good. Here we go. And as you can see in between, let me see and get that to focus. As you can see in between, focus. As you can see in between, if you see right there, that's where the thermal strip is holding in there, where the actual RAM and the metal casing itself. And if you look through it, I usually do a visual inspection to make sure nothing is touching the metal piece, and make sure the metal piece is not touching anything on there. So there you go. You have a perfectly custom DIY RAM water cooling to fit on your water block. So you just need to do as many of these that you have, but make sure again that this emblem is facing forward. So you want to make sure that your groove where you want to put where you're going to put the RAM in, make sure it's facing forward before you put these together, because it's not gonna, well, it still works just as fine, but it's not gonna look good when you have one facing in, one facing out, and it's all unorganized. So alright guys, hope you learned something. Please subscribe, comment, any questions, concerns, definitely let me know. But that's just some of the things that I do to do the RAM, and also other parts as well. I'll have another video to do the water block. I'll have another video to do the water block for the graphics card. So stay tuned for that. Please subscribe, comments, and I'll catch you on the part 3 of the MSI build. Peace, Tommy T. Give me thumbs up if you like it. Give me thumbs down. Everything is retarded. And let me know if you learned something. You have any questions? Then give me a comment.